on this rotation last game. We'll see if they want to change that up a little bit.
Now, this time around, they are going to go for the Leona, so they're locking in their support very, very early, and maybe going with the Diana for Shun as well. So now they've got themselves an early skirmishing jungler that can make early priorities, but for JDG, I feel like you can go back to the Thresh and the Aphelios right now, because there's no real reason to not to.
Yeah, I mean, it worked before. There is a sort of more coordinated dive effort, I feel, from this Leona and the Diana. They are going to be a threat to Aphelios, but that's where Aphelios flourishes. It's kind of a weird scenario because a lot of the times teams pick dive to deal with Aphelios, but it's kind of like a dam holding back a reservoir, right? If the dam can hold it, it's great. But if it starts to crack, then it's an absolute disaster. And that's kind of what it is with this Aphelios Thresh. If they don't get blown up, Loken will shred all these melee champions diving onto him. Obviously, if he does go down, it starts to be a bit of a disaster. And we see the Lucian come in. Is a flex before between most likely top and mid, but we expect it mid lane. It's going to apply a lot of pressure. We see the Twisted Fate banned away from Yagao. So it's important they've secured an AD mid laner to kind of balance with the Diana, but also something that will have a ton of pressure, sorry.
Now you're grand. As we see now, the LeBlanc, the Twisted Fate, the Ziggs all banned away here in the second phase of bans. I'm curious to see now where the side of IG go with these picks, as they've got themselves a little bit of an opportunity now to maybe throw something into the works. We have seen TheShy on Lucian before. Of course, a lot of top laners do tend to lean towards that pick now and then, just as a Xiaohu counter as such, because he's so damn good on that particular one. But we'll wait to see now. The last time I believe we saw him play it was a win, and it wasn't Spring, so not exactly 100% versed on it in most recent memory, but it is something in TheShy's wheelhouse.
Yeah, and we do see the Varus come out for Wink. We were talking about it a lot. I was talking about it a lot in the last draft phase, where we have the Varus and the Ziggs, both champions that do well into the Aphelios. They outrange them, they can poke them down, they don't have to interact and get close. They do have the Ziggs banned away, so they take the Varus really strong here. But I like this answer from JDG that might come out. I think the Mundo, when you're playing against a poke Varus, he's something that's, you know, not the easiest target for him to cut through overall. And the Zoe, really this pick is kind of because you need a strong laner up against Rookie. That's the critical thing. You're into Lucian. If you take something like a Silas, you will just get crushed. So Zoe can do a decent job in that matchup. And obviously, if you land a Sleepy Trouble bubble, then the Lee Sin can follow up, and Kanavi can definitely look to punish that matchup. And now, for IG, we're looking for the top lane round out. Just going to take the Gnar again. Not sure I'm the biggest fan of this. I feel like there was potentially an opportunity for TheShy to go for something maybe, you know, with an easier time in lane up against this Mundo. You could have gone for something like the Camille, but he just goes back to the Gnar again. Obviously didn't have the greatest laning phase last time, was punished quite heavily, but I do think the Mundo has less setup than a Camille, less opportunities to allow a gank to happen.
Yeah, a little part of me was just thinking in my head, like, pick Quinn. Do it, you madman. to make this an interesting top lane matchup. But sadly, he is on the Gnar duty until he finds his form, because TheShy is really struggling right now on the LPL stage, and teams are identifying and really punishing him in these series that he's come back. RNG did it, and now JDG did it in game one. But we'll see now with this Lucian Diana combination, this incredibly powerful mid jungle 2v2. See now if the side of Invictus Gaming can put a little less pressure towards the top and a little bit more action in the mid lane.
And it's super important because one of the things with Diana is pre-6, she's not the most active jungler. You know, we have things like Lee Sin, Din Zhao. These are the active pre-6 junglers that can really make an impact. Diana kind of prefers to farm to 6. You get that ult, and your power just skyrockets immensely. So having a mid laner who's going to be able to contest this lane, provide a lot of pressure, free you up to be able to, you know, farm up safely and hit that 6 point is super important. And once we get to that point, the dive potential for this lineup is pretty insane from the side of IG, and you know who they're going to be looking for. He was MVP in game 1. He got the same champion in game 2. Loken is for sure going to be the target.
Loken having all of this Aphelios experience, definitely feeling confident after that first game. We'll see if Invictus Gaming can strike back, or if JDG will bring themselves up to a 7-3 record with a clean 2-0 in this second game. So we now see TheShy. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, it's awful! It's awful, Ox! Oh no! Oh.
That is the single worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my my god, we will probably get a replay just because the observers are sadistic men, but
I'm gonna look away when that replay comes. I never want to see that.
Close your eyes, children. Close your eyes, children. He's not gonna see this. He's just not looking. He's not paying attention. Oh, dearie.
The thing is, he levels E, fails that, fails the...
Oh, no! That is the bet. That is the only way to describe that particular play. Just and then move on with your life. And JDG sticking true to their word, true to their form. We are going to bully TheShy in this series. We know if we can put him down, IG don't have a chance. And let's see how your mental does, IG. Let's see how you can do.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be ready just to call after that game. I would be so. I mean, after that play, I'd be so done. Move on because I don't even know how to react to that. We should just move on, move forward.
We will move forward.
Yeah,
it happened. IG have pressure in mid. Yes, it is TheShy. We now see level 2. Not quite hit here by IG in this bot side. They were looking for that level 2 move up. So now see Rookie going a little bit aggressive now onto Yagao. And this is the power and pressure you get with something like a Lucian in this mid lane, especially in those early levels against a Zoe.
Yeah, like Zoe, you know, it's one of the picks that can do okay, but it's not a good matchup. Not many things are a good matchup in Lucian in the mid lane. See a lot of heavy trading in the top side. Mundo typically likes to stay at range. This is why he's pretty safe in the top lane and does well in like most matchups as a decent blind, just because he can sit at a range and farm with cleavers. But you know, if he does find a window where he feels confident, he can push forward and look to challenge his opponent. Speaking of challenging, well, TheShy definitely appreciating that ward that he placed down, because it's going to be a 0-2 very early in this game otherwise.
Yeah, that was definitely a learning from the first game, as he was very heavily focused, and I think he got a reminder at the start of this one as well to say, look, by the way, you're still going to be heavily focused. And now with that information of knowing where the Lee Sin is, Shun can pick himself up the bottom scuttle, so you know exactly where this Lee Sin has been and where he is most likely to go.
And IG's bot lane doing a really good job in this game so far. We saw a bit before of them zoning off JDG, but more here. The thing is, like, Varus is good into... I mean, I'm going to say Varus is good into Aphelios. Varus is good into pretty much anything. He's so strong in the lane. That's why he has been quite contested. But typically, Thresh is a good matchup into Leona. But IG have just had the edge to zone them out. Now, Lantern will keep Loken safe here. But, you know, safe doesn't mean that you're farming this wave. And although he won't miss too much of it, he has fallen 10 CS down compared to Wink overall. And this zoning pressure, not just from that play, obviously you only missed a couple of minions there, but over the course of the laning phase, IG's bot lane have really been applying pressure.
Oh, IG applying pressure in the bot side. Kanavi has been stuck in his campsite up into this top lane, and he has found himself snuck around this tribe rush. They are still waiting for TheShy to hit his mega, so this might not be the best of ganks to go for. And you can see now Kanavi channeling his recall to its fullest and will back away. TheShy has a feeling something might be up, so pops down a ward, and Shun in tow to make sure he's in no real danger. So nothing gained for the side of JDG, but still posturing around to see if they can make something happen.
And I think that's the critical thing here, is that if you have the Camille, you have that stun. Obviously means you're almost guaranteed to hit the Sonic Wave. And not seeing the window there, obviously no stun coming in from Zoom, a lot harder to execute. And also, as you said, Mega off TheShy just makes it not necessarily a good play to go for. So they will just back away and go for the reset. Do you see LvMao doing a pretty good job of trying to establish vision around mid lane? I think he's just supporting Yagao here. So if a gank does come in, he can land him. And I think Shun was sort of toying with the idea. I like this pairing though from Lucas. I love when supports and jungles move together. Really an effective combo because, you know, particularly Leona, Diana, which was taken on the same rotation.
Oh no, Shun walks headfirst into the hook and will be taken down. That's the second kill now of the game for the side of JDG, and just lapses in judgment, just as you talked about the all important buddy system with your support. He stops his buddy system and moves away and dies.
And the thing is, they had control on the top side, right? Scuttle is spawning on the top side as well. Obviously, it's a while away, so not really going to move, stay there around for it. But the critical thing is, I just don't think you can walk to the bot side of the map through the river like that. Like, you have to expect the enemy teams mirroring you, right? You have control of the top side. You're comfortable there. The enemy team will have moved their support up on the bot side. You can't just walk in and face check. You're a Diana. You're not level 6. It's not like you can ult and then try and turn things around. And it's just a bit of a mistake coming out there from Shun.
Little bit of mistake, won't mean too much in the grand scheme of things, but it is still about an 800 gold lead now for the side of JDG, as they now look to see if they can get something going. TheShy needs to be a little bit careful, because guess who's back in the top lane? That's right, it's your boy Kanavi coming in with a sonic wave. Doesn't matter if he hits it or not, he's got himself a dragon's kick, and that is enough to secure the bulliment of TheShy in this top side.
Yeah, I mean, I bring it back once more to that interview we saw before the series where JDG said the plan was shut down TheShy. Now got him 0-2-0 on this Gnar. And the Mundo, he will get to the point where he just feels a little bit invincible, especially if he's getting the extra influx of gold. IG on the other side will look towards this dragon. But really, you know, the gold lead is a lot more important than the dragon at this point in the game. If JDG care about the dragons, they'll just start contesting them later. For now, though, they have the pressure advantage, and it feels like IG are kind of bleeding out on the top side of the map.
Again and again, we are seeing TheShy being exposed and punished by JDG, and they're just making his life absolute hell, as we can see now. Wink and Lucas finally finding themselves there. There's the Xenoblade, but the Lantern was there and available to keep him into decent safety, and this is why we see the Thresh with the Aphelios every damn time. It becomes so difficult to jump on top of him when he has the safety of something like a Lantern.
Absolutely makes it, you know, it gives them that element of mobility which you wouldn't normally have. And on top of that, both AD carriers here running the cleanse, so plays in the bot lane become a lot harder to commit onto. But speaking of plays, Kanavi is in the vicinity. LvMao could look for a flash flay here.
Might look for it. Up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start. And that's going to be the Konami code for Kanavi as he jumps in straight on top of Lucas, who hasn't got a hope nor a prayer. Loken picked up that nummy gold and is well on his way to being that very terrifying teamfight Aphelios.
And honestly, credit to LvMao for the setup on that one. Gets the hook. And actually, the window that was really important there was he did it as he walked into that middle brush. So the reason Lucas didn't flash is because he didn't actually have vision of LvMao in that moment. I think he was expecting the flay to come out first and then he'd flash the hook afterwards. But as a result, LvMao not only gets the kill, also doesn't burn his own sum there. Because I think me and Lucas were both in agreement that we probably expected LvMao to flash in, then flay. So we see this window, so he walks in the brush, vision gone, then he throws the hook. You can see that Lucas was trying to sort of move back and forth. He ends up flashing late, and by that point, it's already too late, and JDG are able to follow through. So really nice setup from LvMao to make that play work, because there's a lot of scenarios where that one just doesn't happen.
And this is where things get a little scary for Invictus Gaming. They're now 4 kills down. It's a 2,000 gold lead or thereabouts. Shun has not had much of an impact on this Diana in this early stage. Is now level 6, so we'll have the Moonfall to maybe create something. But it feels like right now IG need to get something going for them, or they're going to fall down a very dark pit of despair.
I think this is one of the things with Diana is that, you know, there's a lot of good things about Diana. Team fighting, insane. Ultimate, really powerful. You know, AP damage profile really helps when you want, you know, like in a scenario with IG, AD top and mid. The problem is this pre-6, and this is a comparison we can see where Kanavi, who is a very proactive jungler, has 4 kills on the board with his assists and kills combined. He's made a pretty big impact. In the meantime, it's not like Shun's just like doing nothing at a choice. It's like there just really isn't much you can do in this matchup to have agency pre-6. And now, yes, he has hit level 6. He has more to do. Unfortunately, because of this advantage for Kanavi, he has to be so cautious. If he face checks this Lee Sin, he will die.
The Lee Sin 202, 100% kill participation, and is just absolutely flying. Kanavi really showing what we love and know about this jungler. And honestly, it comes down to draft. When JDG are on this blue side, they are just straight up telling teams, cool, ban the Shaco, we don't care, because we know you don't play it, but we will play Lee Sin and we will first pick it every single time. And they do very similar things. They do very similar early game. They have very good early game proactivity. They're very good at setting up their laners and just getting their own advantages.
I think the thing to be said, though, is we saw in game 1, IG were behind early. and they did manage to spike pretty hard in the mid game. They had some good rotations, good setups. They don't have the Ziggs again to kind of make things as easier taking towers, but they do have the Herald in pocket to play around with. And we see Lucas make this very long roam up to the top side with Shun. They are clearly trying to apply pressure in the top lane. Varus is playing bot. He can just clear waves from a distance, and it looks like JDG are looking mid, so they don't have a response to this right now.
They do not. Flash is going to be burned, but there's the moonfall. The sun and the moon, not enough to lock down Zoom as he gets himself back underneath his tower. They do have a Rift Herald, so they may be able to get this one down, but look at the rest of JDG. They're roaming up. They know that was the plan from IG, and you've just used everything. There's no moonfall. There's no solar flare. There is a kick, though. It's a Dragon's Rage as they're going to catch onto TheShy. He dies for the third time this game, and now JDG, do they look to try and take some more? The box is there. Rookie is here though with the culling. Great hook there from LvMao, puts Rookie into harm's way, and this is all JDG all the time. Kanavi is not done. He wants more. He's gonna land the cripple. He's gonna get so many more kills if he can just get one last Q, but no, the minion is there to stop him out. It's now 7-0, 3,500 gold, and IG have nothing to show for it.
Absolute disaster for IG there. You see them try and commit to the play, but they don't have the damage to finish off Zoom. That's the critical thing, and they end up essentially wasting the Herald there. They get 2 plates, but 2 plates for Herald isn't really a great trade. It's like the standard. It's what you expect to get. And we see the pro view from Kanavi here. Comes in, great kick onto TheShy. Waits a little bit for his team to get in position and then deletes him, and then it's just constant follow-up here. The team are playing it slow. They know they have time. And LvMao, honestly, it's kind of sad because based on this play, it's looking like an MVP performance for Kanavi, but LvMao has been absolutely dominant on this Thresh with some great hooks so far. And that's the thing, they can keep going. They're so strong, they're so confident, and this ends up being 5-0-2 for Kanavi in this game. 100% kill position so far, an absolute monster. And as we're coming back, we just see Rookie lose 80% of his health bar against Yagao.
I think that just broke Twitch's terms of use. That was disgusting. Oh my good God. So much damage with the paddle star. And now we are so far behind. You cannot contest for any of these dragons, these Rift Heralds, these turrets. There's nothing you can do. And while all that was happening, you just had Aphelios just free farming in the bot side, so he lost nothing. This is just looking so poorly for IG, and Shun trying his very best, but he will fall. The culling is not enough to protect him. And oh God, if that paddle star hadn't already been on cooldown, that could have been a dead Rookie. Now we see Lucas going in the solar flare with the flash of the Seal of Daybreak, but Rookie just taking so much damage. Yagao maybe gonna have a little bit more. He's gonna ult, but not quite get the auto attack off. He actually autoed Lucas. That's a little bit of a mistake there from Yagao, but he won't care. It's 8-0. Apart from that dragon, this could be a perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly just looks like JDG is smurfing on them right now. Game 1 was close. IG made mistakes, but I felt like they would be able to bounce back. But they are getting clapped. There's no other way to say it.
Yep.
Kanavi in particular on this Lee Sin, you know, that's the thing, is that you have more early agency. I didn't think it would come out this strong, though. He has just been everywhere on the map, completely annihilating. And now, you know, we talked about the Diana coming a bit more online at level 6. It doesn't matter. You're so far behind. Kanavi can solo kill you. Kanavi can just solo kill anyone he wants, and they're still looking for more.
They don't need the solo kill because it's going to be a 3v3. Box goes down. That's the Diana down straight away. Rookie trying to join into this one now. It's still a 3v3 as here comes Wink, but he misses his piercing arrow. It's a double kill for the Aphelios and another one for Kanavi. Oh my dear Lord, IG, you are being massacred.
They are absolutely being annihilated. JDG, they pick a spot on the map, they commit, and they just dive in. And it just feels like there's nothing IG can do. They're so strong. You saw Loken with all the chakrams around him, just stepping up and shredding everyone. This is feeling like a 2-0 right now. IG, they need a miracle to pull this one back.
They're going to need multiple miracles. As I've said it before, they're going to need the second coming of Christ to come up and help them out with this particular game. Because here's the replay. This is just JDG knowing they're just stronger.
Yeah, they can afford to push in aggressively like this because there's no way they can really be matched. You know, Rookie tries to get in, but Loken flashes on him. And with the Crescendo Mall stack, there's just no way you win that trade. He's doing so much damage. And then Kanavi, this Lee Sin is basically an assassin at this point. Just one-shot people. Look at the items. Look at the... I mean, we get to see the plates now, so we can see that. But when it comes back... Shun doesn't even have a mythic. Kanavi has Gore Drinker and Black Cleaver.
He is literally one-shotting people right now, and you're on a Varus, so Wink, as I say that, Kanavi, now up on this top side, does have himself a safeguard, so able to keep himself there, but just back to my point, like, you're on, the only one who can really get away from the Lee Sin is Rookie. Everyone else can go in, but not really out. And even looking at Varus, like, Wink hasn't got a hope or a prayer. If he gets hit by that Sonic Wave, he's dead. There's nothing he can do. He's got a cleanse, but what's a cleanse going to do against a Lee Sin?
Yeah, I mean, and it's at the point, like, a lot of the times you see Lee Sin, you know, there's the insect kick, which is obviously really valuable, knocking someone in. You don't need to do that in this game. It's like you kick someone, you hit your Q twice. Oh my lord. You hit your Q twice and they're just dead. It's basically you're an assassin at this point. You can delete anyone, and you're also super tanky on top of that. LvMao with another good hook, but it just feels like JDG are taking what they want. And sure, IG are like, right, we'll cross map. That's the play here. We're behind. We cross map. But you are 8,000 gold down just before 17 minutes. It's like the only reason you're allowed to cross map is because JDG just don't care about that side of the map. It's like, you can have it. You want to take a tier 1? Go for it. We'll take everything else on the other side.
JDG turning around and saying to IG, you exist because we allow it. There is no, never forget that. And we can see now with the Rifthold in top side, Kanavi going to be able to pick up another turret with his top laner, sitting around as well, just in case someone decides to get a little bit cheeky. You can see Shun here goes in. He's going to be a little bit careful. Yep, there is the Q, but not going to be landed just yet as everyone else is backing away. I will say, Kanavi's probably very annoyed at his team. They got a kill without him, so he no longer has 100% kill participation. It's a bit annoying after you've been MVP for the first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a disappointment there. Oh, they're looking for Loken. No cleanse.
They are. No cleanse, no flash, and nowhere to go. And that is how easy it is to kill the Aphelios when he does not have the rest of his team with him. Bit of a small mistake. You're going to need about 19 more of those realistically for IG if they're going to try and come back into this.
Yeah, I think particularly kills onto Kanavi would be very valuable with the shutdown, but he's just so tanky right now. Yagao backs and buys a Medjais because why not? Honestly, at this point, JDG feeling really in control, and it's IG. They're trying to find these windows, and credit to them. You know, we praised their mid game in the first game. They are looking for these opportunities and windows, and these are good plays. I'm not going to hold back from that. You know, going for the cross map, it's the right call. Going for this pick, it's a good play. The problem is, you need more than that. It's this difference is just massive, and I think that's the problem with IG. You've fallen so far behind. You can make all the good plays in the world. There's just a point where it's like it doesn't matter, you know. JDG don't even need to take a good fight. They just need to take a fight and they'll win because they're so far ahead.
2 items on your Aphelios, 2 items nearly onto Yagao, 2.5 there for your jungler. There's just not really a lot you can do here if you're IG. They will say, though, TheShy is finally at a point where he can 1v1 the Mundo, so the Mundo side lane pressure isn't as potent as it was, but who's going to walk up to this wave? Who's going to help you right now? As Kanavi just jumps straight underneath the tower and you are dead. The solar flare into the moonfall. I'll give you the moon and the stars itself as they do get themselves an answer back. TP coming in, though, from the side of JDG means that Zoom is here and he's going to be regenning all of his HP. They do not care, though. They're going to be able to take the tier 2 in mid, take the tier 2 in bot, and oh my god, there's just so much damage. He even got the Gale Force onto his W. Yagao using this Zoe to absolute perfection, and there's just no response here for the side of IG. Yes, they have TheShy split pushing, but at what cost? They're going to try and jump on. Oh, they left it too late. Left it too late. Oh no! Oh no! There's going to be the pop. No! Yo! No! It's all happening again! It's happening again! And oh my lord, IG, you just can't catch a break!
I mean, it is just disaster after disaster here, honestly. It's really fun. I don't think it's fun to watch if you're an IG fan, but, you know, if you're vibing for JDG, then this is honestly a fun game to watch from their perspective. They are just absolutely smashing people to the ground. We did see Kanavi go down there a little bit too deep, and IG do punish and get that big shutdown. But I believe he just picked up a 3rd item on his reset there, and you saw what he did to Rookie. Just 100. Okay, didn't get a full 3rd item, but has now got the phase. But you saw what he did to Rookie. Yagao didn't even touch him. He didn't get an assist. No. He just 100-0'd him single-handedly. it's insane how fed they are, and the rest of the team stepping up as well, picking up those goals. And Yagao, I mean, if you have one person who's like a threat or scary on JDG, not as big of an issue, but Loken ramping up in terms of items. Yagao is a monster, and I mean, we've already talked about Kanavi enough to last a week, but he is doing a monstrous amount of work, and they're setting up for Baron. I don't know if that is going to get in the pit.
TheShy's going to try and jump in. You know he's going to try and go for it, but he's going to lose Mega Gnar in 2-1. It's gone. Now, do you try and steal this one? Shun, it's all on you. Do you risk this? I don't think you do for JDG, so they're just going to waste a little bit of time looking for the fight. Baron will reset. There's the culling. Does a lot of damage right now, as they have got a little bit of armor pen now, with that last Whisper being finished up for Rookie. And now the continuation of this fight as we can push straight forward. See them just looking for something. Lucas over to the bot side. They are going to get the Mega Gnar back now for TheShy. Here we go, jumping straight in. They will get themselves a Shield of Daybreak onto Zoom, but he is not the target you need. Yagao trying to find the baubles. Not going to be able to get it. There's the Moonfall, but they're not going to be able to get anything else off of it. The Moonlight Vigil completely whiffed. But they're just smacking them with their wallets right now. That Mundo is just a briefcase full of money, and he's just throwing it at the side of IG because there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, and with the sustain from this Mundo, they're easily able to move over to the Baron. You see they're still fishing for Pope, but with no jungler, the chance of losing stealing this is so low. IG know if they let the Baron go, the game's over. Second shot's called out.
TheShy almost taken down. There's a bubble. There's a paddle star. It has to be tanked by Rookie. They would have lost TheShy had he not taken that hit to the face, but now you have no way of contesting this. Solar Flare is optimistic at best. Here goes to be the piercing arrow once more. Again, they just have to stop damaging it and then drop it afterwards. So good moves. Oh, a little 1v1 in the mid lane, and that's going to be a trade of kills. Both mid laners dropping, but JDG, they got the prize they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, JDG still coming out ahead. Yes, Yagao goes down and critically loses those Magi stacks, but it just feels like JDG are kind of having fun with this one at this point. Horizon focus now for Yagao. The threat is insane. The Baron's been secured. They can continue to push, and I just don't see IG. They need, again, we've said it before, they need something to go crazily wrong for JDG, because we've seen the engages come in. Every form from JDG just disengages, and you know, Loken has flash. There's Lantern for Yagao. It just feels like it's so hard to pin multiple members down, and that's the thing. The only way you win really is if you kill several people at once. If you kill one member of JDG, there's still a ton of fed players just to come back and return, and it's just feeling desperate right now. He's just trying to actually be caught out here.
It should be fine to be able to back away from this. We can see now in our picture-in-picture the replay that came in. It was just Rookie trying to go for something, and he does really well. If he's not, you know, 5,000-6,000 gold behind his laning opponent, he probably ends up winning that and not dying. So it's just the nature of the beast, sadly, at this point for the side of IG. They have to find opportunities. They have to be gifted them, I feel, at this stage as well. And it all comes down to how can they defend against this Baron, because right now I don't think they can.
Yeah, it's so hard. And the thing is, there's no pressure on JDG. They can just keep fishing, and as soon as Yagao hits someone with a paddle star, you know, that they have to go back to base or they die. You know, it's so rough. So look at the zoom though.
They're looking for Zoom, but that is just not the target. You go with the move, but they're committing everything to this Mundo, and this is pure desperation now from Invictus Gaming. That was going to give you nothing, and a great Moonlight Vigil means they cannot even defend their towers. They're going to send the Mundo back, get him stomped up on all that HP, bring him back into the mid lane, and look to end this game in 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels desperate right now. They're taking bot lane and mid inhibitor. They might just back off after this, use the Baron recalls to spend, but realistically, I just feel like what can IG realistically do to stop them?
You've no engaged. You've no way of going in on top of this. You still don't have the Moonfall. You still don't have TheShy on Gnar. That's going to be Nexus turret number 1 falling. Paddle Star lands down on top of Lucas. He takes a nice chunk of his health bar down. There's Nexus turret number 2. Check on the mark, and that goes down. Here we go. Hook down onto TheShy, so he can't get in as Lee Sin takes out the Varus. There's nothing that you can do to change the outcome of this game. It is written in the stars for JDG as they completely decimate Invictus Gaming in the second game and take the series 2-0.
And that just feels like it for IG. That feels like this may be them not making playoffs at the back of this. It's going to be very difficult from here on out, and after that play it looks rough, but JDG looked crisp. Game 1 a little bit back and forth, but they managed to pull it through. But that game 2, Kanavi absolutely on form, Yagao smurfing on Zoe, and LvMao on this Thresh. I just feel like this team looked so good, and it's really hard to judge how strong this performance was because it's obvious that IG are struggling, but you have to give credit to JDG. They made that game to look easy.
They honestly, straight up, like you said, they were smurfing. That is the easiest way that I can put it for the side of JDG. Congratulations to them. They will move up the standings to 7 and 3. Join the likes of LNG, Rare Atom, and Fun Plus Phoenix at the top of the table there, just underneath Edward Gaming. And now, Invictus Gaming 3 and 7. They have 6 games left. It is not impossible for them to make playoffs, but they basically are, if we're going off of last year's cutoff date, which was 8 and 8 for LNG in 10th position, they are allowed one more loss. That's all they're allowed. Yeah. They're allowed one more loss, and we talked about it in the beforehand. They go against top esports, Rare Atom. You know, like it's not an BLG. Easy set. BLG is in there as well. They, you know, WE again, more playoff caliber teams, and I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think the caliber of teams that we have in the LPL right now is just too good. It's too big. It's too much of an issue to try and just force your way through it. You don't get to have second chances. And I'll be totally honest, again, I just don't see it working with TheShy in the roster either. I think if TheShy is going to be here, they definitely don't make playoffs. And I'll go on record and say that. Yeah,
I mean, I think the fact that even if you assume IG substantially improve, right, between the next match, the next set of matches, they still, I feel like it's a big ask for them to take down either Rare Atom or top esports. And the thing is, that doesn't even necessarily put them in a great position because, as you said, their match score is quite low, so they possibly need to beat both to really be in with a firm chance of making playoffs.
They'd have to be 2-0s.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that would be a hard task for anyone bar EDG at the moment, and IG are a long way from that, so it's looking rough, it's looking pretty dire. TheShy, Nenny, I don't think it really makes a difference. I think it's just it's going to be hard. We'll see how it plays out, though, but I think, you know, we've talked about IG a lot here. JDG had a really strong performance, and I think we highlighted how instrumental Kanavi can be for his team. Game 1 definitely had an impact, but game 2, I mean, he just kind of showed he was a level above, and it's really exciting to see. I think a big thing we've highlighted is sort of the level of so many teams in the league, and we definitely saw that from JDG.
And we just got our MVP. I'll give you a clue. It begins with a K and is not Konami. It is Kanavi getting himself the MVP. It was obvious. He was just insane. Honestly, his Lee Sin is bannable at this stage, and now we've seen with the priority that JDG have, they're ramping up towards the end of the season, they're ramping up towards playoffs, and that just makes me so excited for the start of best of fives.
He was just monstrous, and you know, I gotta give credit. We see this trio together, LvMao, Yagao, and Kanavi. I honestly think all three of them had MVP-worthy performances, but the problem is you're going to give one MVP, and Kanavi was the definite winner. I mean, he was just a level above everywhere he needed to be. 100% kill participation for a good part of the early game into the mid game, and he was just making an impact, flawless in these team fights as well on this Lee Sin, making it work throughout, and it just felt like IG did not have any space to breathe.
And for JDG, this is a great momentum swing for them. They actually have a pretty difficult line of games coming up for them as well. They play Suning on the weekend. They then have BLG, RNG, OMG, FBX, and then they round out the last split against Rogue Warriors. So this is a great time to be a JDG fan, to be a great time to be a fan of Kanavi, because they look like they're at the form of their lives, or at least the form of their split.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually really hyped watching them, and I think there's a lot of good things to be said about a lot of good members, and this series kind of showed it. Now, again, IG not in the best of form, so you can take it with a pinch of salt, but I think we saw a lot of good play from them. And the thing is, IG didn't just roll over and die. Okay, game 2 they kind of did, but there was a big difference, you know. But I think we saw good concepts from IG in the mid game. Their mid game in game 1 was really solid. They kind of had an understanding of how to play the map. It wasn't like they were just sort of, you know, a bronze team or anything. Even though we do like to sort of hit on them and say how rough they are, it's purely because of how competitive the league is and how hard it is really to find ground in the LPL. And I think JDG are one of those sort of mid upper pack teams where they look scary. They look like they could be a strong team to deal with in playoffs, and that's the thing. I feel like I can say that about so many teams. I feel like there's so many rosters where I'm hyped about, and it feels like every week I'm like, whoa, this player looks insane. Oh, but this player looks insane. And I think it's always been the case. It's always been like a big league with the LPL. There's a lot of good teams, but I feel like this season, from what I've seen, it's on another level. It feels like the fact that IG and RNG have had such a rough run kind of shows how stacked all the lineups are.
It really, really does say testament. And again, you sink or you swim. That's how this league goes. And looking towards the end of the year, it is getting very packed out. We'll have a look at the table later, but it is getting very packed out towards those last few playoff spots. You've got a couple of people, like we mentioned earlier, who are nearly there, going to be confirming those hopefully in the next few weeks or so. But right now, it does feel like IG are struggling, and we're going to